granniopteryx, granniopteryx. She knows the truth, she's linking every link.
Hello, I came across this item on GB News and I'd like to play it to you. The only thing is I'm not sure I will be able to. There may be copyright issues. I can play the picture, but I'm not sure I can play the sound. So what I'm going to do is give a quick précis of what Josh Howie said on GB News, and I'll leave a link to that particular clip in the description so that if you want to check me out and make sure I wasn't misinterpreting what was going on, you can do that. What Josh Howie had said was that Muslims are racist towards Jews and that Islam has a problem with Jews. I don't think any reasonable person could possibly deny that. Somebody with an agenda might deny it, but that doesn't qualify, as far as I'm concerned, as a reasonable person. So what happened was that after Howie broadcast this bit, there were some complaints to an organisation called the Centre of Media Monitoring, which sounds nice and neutral, doesn't it? Well, I just checked the Centre of Media Monitoring. A few minutes later, I'm sorry, the page had gone. So the Centre of Media Monitoring, which sounds like a nice neutral thing, doesn't it? Well, this is what it actually is. The Centre for Media Monitoring is a London-based non-profit organisation established in 2018 to ensure fair, responsible and accurate reporting on Islam and Muslims in the British media. It is backed by the Muslim Council of Britain. So I thought I'd just look up the Muslim Council of Britain. I mean, I know what it is. And I asked, is the Centre for Media Monitoring a charity? Because charities are subject to certain rules and regulations that are supposed to confine their behaviour. Now, as a matter of fact, I'm doing some research into that because I am in the middle of reading this document here, Undue Influence, the Iranian regime's abuse of the UK charity system. It's 109 pages, so I spent some of this morning reading it and I'll spend a little more time after I've finished making this video. But it was while I was looking at that sort of thing that I happened on the Josh Howie clip. You see, one thing leads to the other. Well, the Centre for Media Monitoring isn't a charity, so it's out of that particular orbit. However, it's backed by the Muslim Council of Britain. And I asked, is the Muslim Council of Britain a charity? And yes, the Muslim Council of Britain is a registered religious charity formed in 1997. It operates as a national representative umbrella body for Muslims in the UK, providing policy advice, advocacy, promoting cooperation among its over 500 affiliated organisations, and so on. So the MCB is a charity and it backs the Centre for Media Monitoring. So, in other words, there is a very good chance that this organisation is being funded by the Muslim Council of Britain, but it's just being funded under the table, so to speak, or, legitimate transfers. So, although this particular little subset is not named here, when I finally get to giving you my report on this, you can be aware that the Iranian regime isn't the only Muslim organisation that's gaming the system. Now, I am not suggesting that it's only Muslim organisations that game the system. but I am suggesting that perhaps they might be a little more prone to that than other charities, simply because they believe they have a mission to spread Islam. And when you have that sort of a mission, then being a little dishonest about your motives becomes a way of you spreading your faith. Okay, so let's get back to Josh Howie. And there's something that really interested me. It was a couple of words in there. And he said, as I said, that Islam has a problem with Jews, and this brought a complaint from the Centre of Media Monitoring, and he quoted this on his show. I haven't been able to find this original here. I'm not suggesting in any way that GB News made it up, but I think it must have been on Instagram or something, and I don't have Instagram, so I didn't find it. But what the Centre of Media Monitoring said was that this GB News opinion, that is Howie's opinion, exemplifies problematic generalisation by attributing anti-Semitism violence to Muslims as a whole and to Islam as a religion. Hang on a minute, I'm going to find a quote for you. This here is a hadith. So we don't know if Muhammad actually said it or not, but it's al-Bukhari, which is considered almost as reliable as the Quran itself. And so it's quoted frequently and used as a religious precept in its own way in Islam. And this is what it was said. This is how it was reported in Bukhari by Abu Huraira. Allah's messenger said, "The hour will not be established until you fight with the Jews, and the stone behind which a Jew will be hiding will say, 'O Muslim, there's a Jew hiding behind me, so kill him.'" All right? So this is an integral part of Islam, I'm afraid. And saying that it's a generalisation that anti-Semitism and violence, here we are, we have both anti-Semitism and violence in that short paragraph there. Anti-Semitism and violence as a whole and Islam as a religion is a problematic generalisation. I mean, it isn't. It's right there. And that's by no means the only one. It's just the most famous and certainly the most frequently quoted by Muslims themselves when they're chatting in their mosques. Obviously, they're not saying that in Parliament or anything. Well, not yet anyway. So this is what, back to Centre for Media Monitoring. Throughout the article, individual acts of violence and the actions of extremists hang on, I'm going to find another quote. I was saying about extremists, I'm going to quote Tayyip Erdogan now. He's the president of Turkey, or Turkiye, as he likes to put it. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has stated that there is no moderate or immoderate Islam. Islam is Islam, and that's it. Right, so as far as he's concerned, there's no extreme Islam. If it's there in the Quran or indeed in the Hadiths, then that's Islam, and you like it or leave it. Well, you can't leave it, but you know what I mean. Okay, so individual acts of violence and the actions of extremists. So that's the wrong word as well. There is no such thing as extremist. There's just Islam. Are repeatedly framed by Josh Howie as products of the ideology of Islam, with selective references to Quranic verses and Hadith. Oh, Howie talks about verses of the Quran, words directly from God through Muhammad, of course, and the Hadith. Bukhari is considered as reliable as the Quran in most cases. So, if Howie quotes either the Quran or al-Bukhari, then you can pretty well say that's what Islam is supposed to be. And yet they say it's presented without theological context. Okay, but what interested me was this here. Howie talked about the ideology of Islam, and the Centre of Media Monitoring refers to it also as the ideology of Islam. They're quoting Howie, but they're not disputing this. Well, that pulled me up short because, you see, there's a good deal of difference between an ideology and a religion. A religion is something that... Now, I was actually discussing this with my husband. Is the difference between an ideology and a religion simply the existence of a deity, or is it something else? And it seems to me, well, first of all, an ideology is secular. It's a set of rules and opinions which are held by a society rather than a religion. So, for instance, you can have the ideology of capitalism, and you could be, well, Jewish or Muslim or Episcopalian or Catholic or Buddhist. Not so sure Buddhists would go for capitalism too much, but you get the idea. It's an umbrella thing that, because it doesn't have a deity, it's supposed to fit everyone, if they're all using that system. And whereas a religion is exclusive to the people who believe in that particular type of God. At least that's the way I'm reading it. Maybe you have other ideas. If so, put them in the description below. But what interested me is that the words, the ideology of Islam, which Howie used, I don't know whether he did that deliberately, thinking along the lines that I'm thinking along now. But the fact is, this wasn't refuted by the Centre of Media Monitoring. That is, they also regard Islam not just as a religion, but as an ideology, something that everybody should have if they're right-thinking people. If you look at anything, when you're talking about an ideology, the people who hold that ideology also think that you've got to be a right-thinking person to hold that ideology, and if you don't hold it, then there's something wrong with you. It's not that you have opposing opinions, it's that you have opinions that aren't worth anything at all, and they're dead wrong and possibly evil. Anyway, that interested me, that that this Muslim voice here talked about the ideology of Islam. I mean, we don't talk about the ideology of Christianity or the ideology of Judaism, do we? Nobody talks about the ideology of Judaism. You may talk about the ideology of Zionism, though. And there I have a very good example, haven't I? I mean, most Jews are Zionists in some sort of a way, because the religion is based around Zion, which is Jerusalem, isn't it? But Zionism itself is an ideology which has been espoused by people who aren't even, anywhere near Jewish. So, yeah, there we have a very good example. And here, the ideology of Islam, for some reason it didn't sound as strange as if somebody had said the ideology of Methodism, for instance, which would sound a bit sort of clunky and peculiar to me. But the ideology of Islam doesn't sound that bad. I mean, mismatching, it doesn't sound that mismatching, which means we are already half captured with the idea that Islam isn't just a religion, it's also an ideology. And being an ideology, it can take over the country without actually converting people. What do you think of that? Anyway, they used it. They didn't try to correct it. Josh Howie used it, apparently, and he used it. I don't know whether he used it deliberately with that in mind or just because he too has been captured by, I wish I could stop. He too has been captured by this idea of Islam as not just a religion, but an ideology. All right, well, yeah, by all means, discuss below or at the side or wherever the comments turn up on your particular browser. Till next time. You can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels and to donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.